Welcome to the first module in this series designed to help enrich your Mandela Washington Fellowship experience in the United States. The U.S. Department of State wants to ensure that all fellows enjoy a collaborative, productive, and safe environment in which they can contribute and learn. It is important that fellows understand what support will be provided and what will be expected of them before, during, and after the fellowship. During this 15-minute module, we will discuss the key provisions and policies of the Mandela Washington Fellowship. You will also learn additional information as you review the 2019 Fellow Handbook and the Fellowship Terms and Conditions. Today we will cover the following topics and answer the following questions. What key provisions and support are provided by the Fellowship? What are the expectations and responsibilities of each fellow throughout the Fellowship? What happens if Fellowship policies are not followed? Let's start by discussing the provisions provided for each Mandela Washington Fellow. The U.S. Department of State aims to ensure that all fellows are able to fully participate in the fellowship. This means that fellows are not financially responsible for any required program components. The Mandela Washington Fellowship provides all program-related expenses, including travel to and within the United States, meals and lodging during the fellowship, and a stipend for incidental expenses during the fellowship. However, it is important to note the U.S. Department of State, IREX institutes, and/or professional development hosts will not provide funds to cover your salary while you are away from work. The fellowship will provide each fellow with the following: support for a J-1 visa so that you may legally enter the United States and participate in this exchange program, pre-departure orientation at the U.S. Embassy or Consulate in your home country or country of residence, international and domestic travel arrangements, institute program fees, housing and meals during the institute summit and if selected, your professional development experience, healthcare benefit plan, incidental stipend. Fellows often use these funds to purchase additional toiletries, snacks, or phone cards. The stipend is meant for your personal use only and is not meant to subsidize your salary. Book and cultural allowance. This allowance is intended to enable you to purchase materials relevant to your academic studies or to attend cultural activities such as a concert or festival. Mobile phone and international calling card. Next, let's review the information you will need to enter the United States, including your travel arrangements. As a guest of the U.S. government, you must enter the United States on a J-1 visa and your valid African passport. The U.S. Embassy in your country will assist you with the visa application process, including providing you with your DS 2019 form, which is the Certificate of Eligibility for Exchange Visitor J-1 status. The DS 2019 form includes your official program dates, the purpose and nature of your visit to the United States, and your institute placement. Please do not alter your DS 2019 form in any way and make sure that the original copy is kept in good condition. The J-1 visa, along with your DS 2019 form, allows you to legally enter the United States and participate in the program. You must present original copies of both documents when traveling, but we strongly encourage you to carry color photocopies of your passport biographical information page and J-1 visa page, as well as a copy of your DS 2019 form. We also suggest that you leave a set of copies with a family member or friend and pack a set in your checked luggage. It is important to note that children and spouses may not accompany you on the fellowship and will not be issued dependent visas. You can read more about the DS 2019 form and J-1 visa in your Fellow Handbook. You will receive more guidance in the weeks to come about the visa application process from the U.S. Embassy or Consulate in your home country or country of residence. Now let's take a moment to discuss travel arrangements that will be made on your behalf. The Fellowship provides for all program-related travel. IREX will arrange and purchase round-trip international airfare from your home country to the United States in accordance with the official program start and end dates. The local U.S. Embassy or Consulate will arrange domestic travel as needed for fellows who do not live close to an international airport. Please do not make any travel arrangements for yourself. You may not change your arrival date to the United States, but you may extend your stay for a maximum of 30 days after the official program end date listed on your DS 2019 form. Should you choose to extend your stay, you will be responsible for all associated planning, charges, and fees. The Fellowship does not provide funds for overweight or excess baggage fees for international travel. It is important to check the baggage policies for all airlines on which you will travel and plan to follow the most restrictive policy if there are differences. For domestic travel, fellows who fly from their institute to the summit will receive a $100 baggage allowance. Additionally, fellows selected for a professional development experience who fly to their host PDE city will receive a $100 baggage allowance. These allowances are sufficient to cover fees for 2 pieces of luggage and are not intended to cover overweight or excess bags. Any travel that is a part of required institute activities will be arranged and paid for on your behalf. You will be responsible, however, for costs associated with transportation for personal needs, networking meetings, and any allowable personal travel. We will discuss the travel policy in more detail later on in this module. Let's focus next on the financial provisions of the fellowship. General program fees associated with academic courses, required readings or materials, and admission charges for required institute activities are provided for all fellows. Housing and meals are covered by the fellowship. It is important to remember that the type of housing and meal plan arrangements will vary across institutes. Please be prepared to stay in an on-campus university dormitory and share a bedroom, bathroom, and common space with 1 or more fellows. Shared bedrooms and bathrooms will be assigned to fellows of the same gender. At the summit, you will be assigned to share a room with 1 other fellow of the same gender at the hotel where the program activities will be held. PDE housing varies by placement location, but typically includes assignments in shared furnished apartments or extended stay hotels with fellows of the same gender. Meal plans vary across institutes, but typically include a combination of cafeteria meals, catered meals, and restaurant meals. Some housing may include access to a shared kitchen so that you can prepare some meals independently or in groups. Please be prepared to be open-minded and flexible when it comes to snacks and meals, noting that American food is different from what you may be used to, and African food will most likely not be available. You will receive additional information from your institute about your housing accommodations and meal plans. All fellows will be provided with 2 one-time fellowship allowances after arriving to their institute. Fellows will receive a $200 book and cultural allowance to purchase books or to attend a concert, festival, or other cultural activity. A $450 incidental stipend will also be provided to support expenses while on the fellowship. This may be used for purchasing personal snacks, transportation, or additional minutes for your calling card. Additionally, the stipend may be used to cover any medical co-pays or other treatment costs you may incur while on the fellowship. Please plan to budget both allowances carefully as additional funds will not be provided. It is important to note that neither the book and cultural allowance nor the incidental stipend is intended to replace your salary while you are participating in the fellowship. These monies are meant to defray direct personal expenses that you incur while you are in the United States. Finally, the fellowship will provide you with a basic smartphone with unlimited calls and texts to U.S. numbers only, plus a limited data plan. You will receive an international calling card with a set number of minutes so that you can contact your family to update them on your safe arrival. Once you arrive to the United States, health and self-care will be essential to success during the fellowship, so we will now briefly review the health benefits plan provided for all fellows. All fellows will be enrolled in the U.S. Department of State's Accident and Sickness Program for Exchanges, ASPE. ASPE is a health benefit plan designed to provide support for your health and well-being while you are in the United States. It is not an insurance plan, nor is it designed to cover routine checkups, pre-existing conditions, and other non-emergency health issues. You will receive your ASPE card when you arrive to your institute and will need to carry the card with you at all times. In the event you need medical care, you will need to present the card to your healthcare provider. It is important that you understand the U.S. health system, as it is very different than the health systems of many other countries. The benefit plan for this program is designed to provide emergency care if you fall ill or have an accident during the fellowship. Keep these points in mind. ASPE is a health benefit plan, not traditional American health insurance. You will be required to pay a copay if you need medical care. When visiting a general doctor, your copay will be $25. But if you visit an urgent care facility or an emergency room in a hospital, then the copay is typically $75. Additionally, there is generally a $15 copay for all brand name prescriptions. As stated in your signed terms and conditions, you are responsible for all payments associated with medical treatment and for costs of medical care not covered under ASPE. You should use the money from the $450 incidental stipend to cover copays. The ASPE policy will only cover you during the Institute, the Summit, and your PDE if applicable. It will not cover you if you choose to extend your stay in the U.S. for the allowed 30-day period following the fellowship. Medications for common ailments like a cold, the flu, or an upset stomach are available without seeing a doctor and can be found at local stores near your institute. It is important to be aware that ASPE does not cover the following: routine health examinations, except prenatal care and visits, routine eye examinations, eyeglasses and contacts, allergy tests, routine dental cleaning and dental work, treatment for pre-existing conditions, over-the-counter medications, meaning no prescription needed in the United States, copayments for doctors and hospital visits, copayments for prescriptive medications. To learn more about what is and is not covered by ASPE, you should review your ASPE Guide to Health Care Coverage you received or visit usdos.sevencorners.com. Next, we will discuss your responsibilities as a fellow. We encourage you to consider the following stages when planning and framing your experience in the United States. Before your arrival, you can best prepare by reflecting on what motivated you to participate in the fellowship, organizing both your short and long-term goals, and conducting research to ensure you are able to make the most of your experience. The time you spend in the United States is intentionally designed to provide you with new perspectives on leading strategically, creatively, and with empathy. You will be expected to actively participate in all of the program, academic coursework, and opportunities provided to interact with fellows, professors and staff, community leaders, government officials, internship colleagues, and others. Once you return home, it is expected that you will work to share your experience and newly acquired leadership skills in your professional work and with your community. We hope that you will inspire and support others, both individually, through mentoring and community service, and collectively as members of a growing fellowship alumni network. After the fellowship, there will also be opportunities for you to continue to build the skills and connections you developed in the United States upon returning home. New alumni activities will be announced in fall 2019. During the fellowship, your schedule will be very full of activity and opportunities, so it is vital that you think about how best to manage your time during the fellowship before you arrive. All institutes have rigorous agendas designed to provide maximum benefits over the course of 6 weeks, so time management is important. You will need to be prepared for some early days and late evening events, as well as additional opportunities that may be added to the scheduled agenda. Your institute has incorporated some unstructured time into the schedule each week. This time is meant to allow you to pursue your individual professional interests and to develop your professional contacts. We encourage you to take advantage of relevant campus and community resources and pursue networking opportunities both in your local community and virtually with those in other parts of the United States. You will also have some free time in the evenings and on weekends to relax, enjoy local culture, and reflect on your experience. It is important to take time to rest and recharge so that you can remain healthy and make the most of the fellowship. Please note that the amount of unstructured and free time is not sufficient for staying involved in your business or work activities at home. Please make arrangements before you depart to appropriately delegate work responsibilities for the duration of your time in the United States. In addition to managing your time well, it is also important that you keep an open mind and maintain a flexible attitude to make the most of your fellowship. In terms of professional activities, you should respect everyone as colleagues regardless of their age or level of experience, and you should listen to opposing viewpoints without judgment. On a personal level, this means understanding that you will be living in a shared space and things like food will be quite different than what you're used to at home. Look for the positive in all of these experiences and do your part to create an institute environment that is safe, respectful, and productive for everyone. All fellows have a personal responsibility to help create a welcoming and professional environment conducive to everyone's wellness and productivity. Please keep your shared spaces tidy and be respectful of differences in habits. Each fellow is responsible for their own laundry, their own transportation during unscheduled time, and their own administrative tasks. This is a great opportunity, however, to build a community and help each other make the most of your time. Remember that the strength of the fellowship is in the diversity of activities. Not everything will be directly applicable to your work or your home community, but you will be able to gain transferable skills and new professional contacts. Fellows are encouraged to reconsider their typical approach to an issue based on their interactions with people who have different attitudes and perspectives. The fellowship is intentionally designed to expose you to topic areas outside of your specific industry or sector and expand your skill set so that you are positioned to lead in a diverse range of sectors and settings. The Institute components and activities during the summit are designed to give you the opportunity to study American approaches in an interactive way, consider new viewpoints, and build professional relationships. Together, full participation in all required activities is central to your fellowship experience and the terms and conditions you accepted. Full participation includes full attendance at and full engagement in all mandatory sessions or events. Please note that full attendance means arriving on time and staying for the entire session or activity. It is also important to remember that full participation is a required element of your J1 visa terms as well as your fellowship terms and conditions. Not participating is not only counterproductive for your fellowship experience, but can jeopardize your status in the program, so it must be taken seriously. If you need to be absent from an Institute activity, you must notify your Institute staff immediately. As a reminder, excessive and unexcused absences may be grounds for dismissal from the fellowship. Now, let's turn to focus on a number of key fellowship policies. As you prepare for the fellowship, it is critical that you carefully review your 2019 Terms and Conditions document so that you are familiar with the contents. If you have any questions, please reach out to the Mandela Washington Fellowship team at mwf2019@irex.org. In the weeks to come, it will be very important that you review fellowship communications closely and submit all required information in a timely manner. You will receive official communications from IREX and from your Institute staff through email and social media. Please check your spam or junk folders regularly, as mass emails are sometimes flagged. Information may also be shared on the Fellowship's private Facebook group, on an Institute-specific private Facebook group, or via WhatsApp. It is your responsibility to read all information thoroughly, especially instructions regarding deadlines and requirements. All policies detailed in the terms and conditions are important, but we'd like to highlight several key points on fellowship participation, travel, and the potential consequences for not complying with the policies. Your terms and conditions allow you to travel within the United States at your own expense for networking and business purposes, provided it does not interfere with any structured program activities or work schedule. You may not travel during weeks 1 or 6 of the Institute, weeks 1 or 4 of your PDE, or at any time during the summit. It is important to know that travel policy only permits travel within 350 miles of your Institute or PDE placement location. Pre-approved exceptions can be made in the case of a family or other emergency. Any unapproved travel beyond 350 miles will result in a warning and could result in termination of your fellowship. Please note that this 350-mile distance does not apply to any travel that is scheduled as part of your Institute agenda. Your safety while you are in the United States is of utmost importance to your Institute staff, IREX, and the U.S. Department of State, and we need to be able to reach you at all times. When you travel, you must submit a YALI travel contact form to your Institute staff or PDE host at least 24 hours in advance of your departure so they can contact you if necessary. A copy of the YALI travel contact form can be found in your handbook or downloaded from OBA. You may also email mwf2019@irex.org to request the form. Remember that you can schedule calls and virtual meetings if there are organizations or people with whom you would like to connect, but are based more than 350 miles from your Institute or PDE placement. You also have the option to schedule personal travel during the 30-day grace period at the conclusion of your fellowship program. Although we know that you will take your responsibilities as a fellow seriously, we want to take a few moments to review the steps that will be taken if you do not follow the policies set forth in the fellowship terms and conditions. It is important to understand that failure to follow any of the policies laid out in your signed terms and conditions document may result in verbal or written warnings or dismissal from the program. Upon arrival in the United States, your Institute staff will provide details about any additional policies specific to your Institute and any local laws that are applicable in your state. For minor policy infractions, the first step is a verbal warning, which will be accompanied by written confirmation and signed by the fellow. Examples of behavior that might warrant a verbal warning include excessive or repeated tardiness or disrespectful behavior toward another fellow, Institute staff, or community member. A second minor infraction will result in a written warning, which is also signed by the fellow. Examples of behavior that might warrant a written warning are repeated and unexplained absences or continued disrespectful actions. Please note that a single violation may result in an immediate written warning if it is deemed to be serious. After multiple minor policy infractions, or in the case of a single severe violation of policies, Institute or IREC staff can make a recommendation for termination of an individual's fellowship to the U.S. Department of State. Examples of behavior that may warrant a recommendation for termination are physically harming another fellow, Institute staff or community member, or violation of U.S. law. Again, we do not anticipate any issues, but want you to be aware of the possible consequences of inappropriate behavior. The U.S. Department of State wants you to have a successful fellowship, so termination is only considered in cases of serious or repeated violations of program policy. As noted in the terms and conditions, your fellowship may be terminated for violating U.S. law or institute-specific policies, for example, the use of illegal drugs. Engaging in prohibited activities, for example, violent, abusive, or disrespectful behavior toward anyone. Conduct that could reflect negatively on the fellowship, for example, extreme public intoxication. Not participating fully in the fellowship, for example, excessive absence from required sessions or activities. The above actions or behaviors may also constitute a violation of your J-1 visa requirements, which can result in immediate termination. Maintaining your J-1 visa status is a fellowship requirement. As confirmed in your terms and conditions, if your fellowship is terminated, you will not be considered as having received the fellowship award, will not receive a certificate of completion, will not be considered an alum of the fellowship, will be prohibited from future participating in the fellowship, and will not receive disbursement of any remaining allowances except for return travel, and all benefits including your health benefit plan will cease. If you have any questions or concern about what could be considered a violation of fellowship policies or what could result in a warning or possible recommendation for termination, please reach out to the Mandela Washington Fellowship team at mwf2019@irex.org. We appreciate your careful attention to this important information, which is critical to supporting the ability of all fellows to have a positive and productive fellowship experience. Congratulations! You have almost completed the first module. Here's what you need to do next. Please complete the Module 1 quiz. We encourage you to use your 2019 Fellow Handbook and Terms and Conditions document as a reference if you have any questions. As previously shared, you should be very familiar with both documents, so you should review them carefully and reach out to the Mandela Washington Fellowship team at mwf2019@irex.org if you have any questions. Please plan to complete the other modules as soon as possible and no later than April 30th. We know that this will be a busy time as you prepare to be away from your work and your family, but each of the modules provides important information to help you be well prepared for your experience. Remember to check your email regularly, including your spam or junk folders, and respond to all fellowship messages promptly so that we have the information we need to be prepared for your arrival. Thank you again for joining us for this module. We hope you found this information useful as you prepare for your fellowship. If you have any additional questions, please contact us at mwf2019@irex.org.